Hey, I'm Austin with Training Tall, and welcome back to another rowing form review video, where today we're going to be taking a look at Liver King's rowing form. Liver King being one of the fastest growing fitness pages all across social media. We're not going to get into any of the stuff that he preaches about. We're strictly going to be looking at his rowing form today. As someone who is in fitness, we'll see how well he actually knows how to row. We're going to be looking through each bit of his form, drawing on it, talking over it, and giving you pointers that hopefully will help you with your own rowing form. And if you want me to review your form for you, talk over it and draw over it like we're going to do today, make sure that you sign up over on my website, trainingtall.net. Links are down below, and we can work on your own personal rowing form together. So let's get into it here. It's a very short clip. It's just a couple seconds long, not the best quality, but it is enough for us to work with. So we're gonna start things off here with Liver King's finish position. So here at the finish, first thing that we can see is that his legs are not all the way extended. One of the most important things that when you row into a strong stroke, especially when you're a short man like Liver King, you want to make sure you're utilizing every single bit of leg length that you can. And a very common thing that we see is not extending the legs all the way, and that's very evident here. So you want to make sure that you flex your quads at the finish position. Push your legs down all the way. There's no fear of hyper extending your legs or anything like that. Make sure you push your legs down all the way with the stroke. Now, as we pull into the finish position here, as he's pulling in, we can see that he's pulling in really high above his chest. Now this position here, right above the chest, that's not ideal because it's going to encourage using our arms and shoulders to extend the handle back out, and we want our arms and shoulders to be relaxed on the way back out with the stroke. So in this case, Liver King, we just want to be pulling that handle in below the chest instead. When we pull in right below the chest, not to the stomach, but right below the chest bone, that's also going to relieve tension from the shoulders and the traps, which we don't want activated at the finish position of the rowing stroke. So pulling in lower is going to help bring down the traps, the shoulders, make more of a relaxed finish position, as it should be as you start on the return sequence. So as we look at his return sequence here, we can see that he does exactly what we want to avoid to do when we pull in high, which is punching the arms straight out. So you can see his arms are punching out first. He's almost getting over his knees before they bend, but his arms, we can see here, aren't fully extended. And since his legs never got fully extended, we're just missing out on stroke length. And Liver King is a very short human, and we need as much length as possible. So getting the arms out straight over the legs before they bend, ideally instead of carrying the arms how he's doing it here, where he's carrying the handle kind of up and over, instead we would want to relax our arms and tap the arms down and over the legs. That way we can pass over the knees before the knees bend. Just like if you were doing a deadlift with a barbell, you would never bend your knees and then take the bar over your knees. You'd get the bar over first. So coming up here to the front end of the rowing stroke, we can see as he passes over the knees, look at his arms here. Notice how his arms are gonna start dipping and dropping down. They're dipping and dropping because his arms and shoulders are tired from punching the handle out. So he's trying to get some relaxation in the arms by dropping the arms after the knees, but it's actually the opposite. So again, rewinding back to the finish position, if he taps his arms down and over his knees, then he can start slowly raising the arms up to the front end of the stroke. So that way at the front, he's loaded and ready to go. Instead, since his arms are dropping down, as he gets to the front here, he does have a good lean forward with his body. He is trying to get his torso forward, which is very important. But we can see that his arms, they kind of flick up into position. Notice that they are kind of swooping up. They're kind of arcing up. And as he does this, he ends up arcing too high. Check this out. Arcs high. Look at the line of pull here on the machine. I'm going to highlight it real quick. Check out the line of pull where he starts. It goes high and then it snaps down low. So when we look at where the chain actually snaps, that's the line of pull that he should be aiming for. But because he's flicking the arms up at the front, he's overshooting it and then the chain settles down. That's why we don't want to be flicking or raising our arms at the front. Even though you think it might be simulating rowing on the water, it's really not. Even professional rowers aren't scooping their arms to get the stroke at the front end each time. And then from there, as he's pulling in, we can also just see a lot of tension here in his feet. He's trying to use the foot straps to pull himself back up, a very common thing we see when we don't flex our legs down all the way, don't hold our knees down, bend our knees before the handle goes out and over. And one thing that would help mediate this as well is lowering his foot plates down. If you look at where his feet are actually strapped in, he has the strap basically as bad as it gets, which is like as low on his shoe as possible. Ideally, we want to strap our feet in as low as possible. So foot holes down, 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 down. That way at the front end, when the feet are lower, look how high his knees are onto his chest here. His knees would be a lot lower. They'd be more down like at this level if he lowered his foot plates down, which would make it easier to lean in. He wouldn't have to try to rest his arms and all that stuff that he's doing. So he's got to lower the foot plates down. He's got to press his legs all the way flat. And he's got to make sure that the handle is feeding straight in so it's not getting that wobbly bounce that we see each time. Now, one little quick note, his wife in this video also was rowing, and she actually rows pretty well. Just want to do a quick little review for her real quick. Notice how her body is leaned forward at the front. That's awesome. Her legs are compressed and she's getting her arms straight out. However, she is carrying her hands low, just like we saw with Liver King. So again, if we follow the line of pull, we can see that the chain is down here. Notice when she pulls up, it has to kind of spring up and out of position here. It has to spring up into this line. And so ideally, after she passes over her knees, she would lift the arms, but now we can see that she's actually bending her knees early as well. Maybe her form's not that great, but she's bending her knees before the handle comes over. We want to avoid that, and we can easily avoid that by not punching out straight with the arms, but just like with Liver King, tapping the arms down and over the legs. Tap them down and over before the knees bend. That way we don't feel like we need to drop our arms at the front because our shoulders are tired, and we get a lot more of an efficient stroke. Also, as she's driving back, she's leaning back early. So she's leaning back before she pushes her legs. Another very common mistake. But I think I'm done ripping on these two. But hopefully that if they ever watch this video, doubt they ever will, that it could give them some pointers and maybe it gave you some aha moments with your rowing form. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, if you want me to do more, if you find rowing celebrities rowing, send the clips to me and I will do more of those if that's something that you'd like to see. Don't forget to check out trainingtall.net for ebooks, rowing form reviews with me, and my app, Just Row as well. But thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.